Hello, Sippy audience. Thanks for watching this video. My name is Fred, and I'm in charge of marketing and sales here at Sippy. The point of this video series is to share some information we hope you'll find useful as you get to know Sippy 2020. For this video, we have our lead QA, Pavel, and our product manager, Philip. Both, as you can expect, are extremely knowledgeable. They're going to take you through some of the details about one new feature, our balance allocation feature. Now, this feature is just one of many features that we're putting into our new Sippy 2020. But we wanted you to start by knowing a little bit about Sippy 2020, so we're starting with this feature. If you enter our sandbox contest, pay close attention, as some of the answers to the questions on the quiz will be part of the video. Go ahead, Philip.
Thanks, Fred. Today we're here to talk to you a bit about one of our new features in our Sippy SoftSwitch 2020 release. This is for our balance allocation algorithm for accounts. One of the big reasons why we needed to work on this new feature was to minimize the chances of account balances reaching a negative value. This could happen when money gets allocated at the beginning of each call, and this money or balance allocation is based off of the max session time for the accounts. This typically could be upwards to 60 minutes for the max session time. As other calls come into the system, it would also reserve money from the account balance, and this could put the account into a negative state. This would inherently prevent calls from moving forward. So to correct this issue, we created two new scenarios that would address this issue. One, where account balances are based off of average call duration, and the second strategy is an incremental time, based off of incremental time. In the session allocation based off of average call duration, we will reserve time for that call based on what your average call duration is. So if you have an average call duration of 30 seconds, as the call goes through, every 30 seconds, we'll check for balance out of that account and reserve an extra 30 seconds of time for that call to continue, all the way up until we hit that max session time. In the incremental algorithm, we do something similar where we allocate time incrementally. So we start off with 10 seconds, and then the next time we check for balances, we'll try and reserve 20 seconds. And the next time we check for time again, we add checking for 40 seconds and 80 seconds to a maximum of 200 seconds, or the duration of the average call duration. So whichever value is larger is the sort of the maximum amount of time that'll get reserved for the calls. This is particularly important for wholesale customers who deal with many connections, and it also makes sure that the account balances don't reach negative values, and makes sure that calls are flowing appropriately through the switch. We also really wanted to throw out a quick shout out to 3 of our customers who suggested changes in this area, each of which have active support contracts, who put forward some of these ideas, and we had a chance to work on their ideas during this course of this release. We'd like to thank out FlySip, Phoenix Solutions, and Verimore for their great information and feedback. If you are looking for more information, we do have an article on the balance allocations up on the support forums, so please take a look at there. Back to you, Fred.
Okay. So Philip, if I am a wholesaler, does the balance allocation work differently if I am or if I am a retailer? Is there a difference between the way the allocation of balances is done, depending on the type of traffic I put through?
If you have short average call durations of 5 seconds, you really want to consider using the incremental time metric, because the shorter your call durations, the more frequently you'll be making requests for balance at that time. Um, if you're running like calling cards or more retail type traffic, average call duration should work out fine for you.
Okay, and so what's one of the what's one of the most I guess one of the biggest changes that we've made with the new balance allocation feature? What would you say the most positive, I guess, change that we've made? What would that be?
Well, definitely the scenario where we're avoiding those situations where you have negative account balances. That's definitely something that causes some customers some reason for concern. We also making sure that we have the appropriate balance allocated for each of the calls really does help make sure that when calls do come in for that account, they are going through appropriately.
Oh, okay. Very interesting, Pavel. So, from the perspective of somebody who's worked on testing the feature, how does the work that you've done to test the features, how does that reflect on how the feature is can be used on a regular basis?
So if we are talking about the behavior of the new feature on the CP 2020, so there is some minor performance boost when we are using new algorithm, and basically there is significant user um, interaction thing. So every user that can set up this particular policy will immediately see the change between what was previously when account balance could go negative and some funds were not accurately consumed in that particular way. And the new algorithm where the funds would be consumed as effectively as possible. So the account balance would be now the measurement for the new traffic that would be sent.
Okay, so when you talk about performance boost, you're talking about really a way of making sure that any customer's balance is better used on a regular basis, on a per call basis, so that it's not so that the system is making the best use out of the resources that are processing each call. Correct?
Yes, exactly. And
Oh,
just to warn the customers that would be evaluating this feature, so there is no performance degradation for the pretty low setting for that average call duration when it is used. So you can even set it to 5 or 10 or 20 seconds, and there would be no performance degradation or something. So CP will still calculate the balance and allocate the balance properly without any particular issues on performance. So
oh.
there is software limit for that particular average call duration. It is set to 5 seconds. So according to our internal test, it was considered as reasonable limit.
Very interesting. So, I guess overall, this being one of the first features that we are presenting to the public for Sippy 2020, Philip, do you see this as um, one of the bigger features that is going to be making up Sippy 2020? How would you rate this feature in terms of the impact that this will have in the overall introduction of Sippy 2020?
This is definitely one of the many new features that we've added in for CP 2020. We have several other features that we'll also be discussing in the near term future. In relation to this particular feature, I don't want to undercut its importance. This was a pretty important change to our software, but we definitely do have a number of other changes planned that we will talk about that certainly adds to things like security of your system. It also we also have some further changes ahead of us that will add some additional functioning for some new RFC functionalities that we plan to support. So this is just one of several features that we are bringing forward in the new release.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think that today we learned a little bit about one of the newest features that we've got coming up. Like I said before, if you've entered the sandbox context, you want to make sure that you take note of some of the information that Philip and Pavel shared with us today. You want to make sure that you look at closely the notes that were displayed on the PowerPoint so that you can answer the questions that will be part of the quiz. Next video, we are going to go through another set of features, which again, you can take notes on so that you can answer the answers on the quiz. For now, on behalf of Philip, Pavel, Sippy Software, and myself, Fred, thank you very much. We'll see you again.